the bashing, the use of tools. They're exact opposite. They went through slavery, oppression, all these things before violence ever did. Yet, in the previous film, they fucking bashed in the head of the governor. So it's like this even... I was like, wait, this isn't their first violent action. Now, towards each other, yes. That still doesn't resonate.
Well, and they didn't even give Caesar anything to say in this realization moment. Jake gets the first line out of this powerful reveal. Jake does in McDonald.
I'm glad they named him. I'm glad to know his name is Jake.
Yeah. But I where is Caesar in all of this? Roddy's doing an amazing job with his expressions.
Which, by the way, did you notice how long his eyelashes are?
Yes, when he closes his eyes.
Those have to be fake.
They were fake. They had to be.
They had to be.
The squareness of them. They
monstrously
were
long.
They were not cut curled. They were cut across.
Okay.
So yes, they were fake.
Well,
I mean, what do you want out of this minute? Aldo has killed.
Here's what I want out of this minute.
He's killed our child. We're now explaining to the audience that yes, this is what happened. We don't need that explanation. We know what happened.
I also find, you ask what I want, I start thinking too that Lisa's reaction's even wrong. If you fucking killed my kid, Richard, and it cut over, Shelley's the one over here looking and trying to process, I wouldn't be like, you killed my son. I'd be like, you fucking, I'd be losing my shit. Everybody's reaction is this.
There's three reactions that I would want out of Lisa. The first one is I would want her to break down crying.
Yes.
I would want her to, on some level, charge and be pulled back.
Or have to be supported because she's collapsed.
Something like that. I wouldn't mind her running up and pounding on Aldo crying.
That's beautiful. Love
like something along those lines where she's now in his physical
Slapping.
space. Right.
Do anything.
Yeah. Something to get up over there to kind of move Caesar in a direction in terms of having to act.
Right.
Because we're not getting.
That'd be great because maybe he's the one that has to go over and pull her back, and now he's confronting there. It's just so okay. On the one hand, I love all this stuff of the back and forth shots, all that kind of thing. I think is very compelling. I again even like the if it was dialed down a little bit, but it becomes incredibly monotone. And there's no escalation. We talked about escalation in these films before where it's just sort of like it's here and bam, you go. There's no build to it. There's no ramp. And usually you want that. It's just kind of bleh.
And then we get the freaks of everybody chanting, Ape has killed ape, goo gaba, goo.
Okay.
One of us, one of us.
I'm pretty sure I remember this, but at the very first in the teacher scenes in the classroom, is it Ape shall not kill ape? Right. I knew that was there. I just need to be reaffirmed. If you're going to introduce that roughly 70 minutes before, you need to restate it.
At some point, yeah.
You cannot just expect me to feel moved by what you told me 70 minutes ago if you haven't repeated it about.
So they're saying ape has killed ape has killed ape in their chants. It would be more appropriate from the ape shall not kill ape.
Well, even if they went ape has killed ape, if somebody came in, maybe teacher, give him the moment and where he steps in and goes, ape shall not kill ape. Once again, you're giving a human a voice of that dissent. They're now society together. They missed their point. I wish maybe when Corny fell from the tree, if one of the gorillas has said something like, ape has killed ape, if they had done that to bring that theme again so it hits here and resonates. But it's been so long that this just sort of lays flat.
Whenever Corny and the kid were playing with each other, you could have had another ape playing with them, and the ape is acting like he's shooting at them, and mom comes out, Lisa says, what are you doing? Remember, we have to play dead whenever we're being surrounded. And then she can go, no, why is he shooting at you? Ape shall not kill ape.
Right.
Something like that.
Yeah, this also would have been fun if we did know who his guard was and we had the power of them switching as well,
Like so many times in these films, I think the thought behind what they want to throw out is rather powerful. It's just not executed to the point where it resonates and makes you think, oh, that's profound. And again, it's so not profound that McDonald throws out that line, and it's just sort of like, I don't know what joining the human race means. Does that mean they now have to pay taxes? I moved Sean to choke.
Sorry, they should cut back to the radioactive city with that lady and the assistant sitting there going, "You think they're going to get back anytime soon?"
Fuck that. They're smoking a cigarette. Yeah, they're gone. Culp, we don't have to listen to his ass anymore.
So Roddy had moved closer to Lisa and the other gorillas that are behind her. So he's side by side in those shots with her. And Virgil's just now non-existent completely. Mm-hmm. I don't know where he went for these moments. But there's a lack of comfort happening between the two of them, or a lack of something. They're just standing side by side as we see him react and we see her give her dialogue and react. And this two spouses have just found out who murdered their child, and it'd be something more to see the two of them react together.
Well, yeah. So it's odd that when she appears by Caesar, where does she first appear by Caesar? Well, actually,
it's a little bit.
In my opinion, if you look during his reactions, starting at 10 seconds,
she's
look at that hair to the right of the frame. That looks like her little bob
No, it is.
haircut.
It is here at the B. Actually, if you go back to 5 seconds, you'll see him now standing next to her with Virgil on the right, and then they seem to kind of move a little bit.
Yeah.
He moves forward, she moves closer to him, but in the shots of his reaction and the shots of her reaction, they're side by side. We just don't see them together in that way, and it felt a little abrupt that he was just suddenly there.
I would like to, you could build a story too, just even their hands being held together, as parents, they're hearing this awful news.
Right.
It's just, they're so focused on simply saying ape shall not kill ape so we can condemn Aldo so that we can have a confrontation with Aldo that they're forgetting the underlying story that's being told. Parents have found out what happened to their child. A society is hearing this. A society is maturing. You mature not because of your triumph. Sometimes it's the calamities that occur. This society is changing, and maybe that's kind of what McDonald means too with the whole joining the human race. They're understanding what it means that you can't always adhere to laws, and what happens when we don't adhere to laws. We have to be punished. Those are compelling discussions to have. We don't have them because all we get is just oddly coming together.
If they wanted to have the monkey gallery be the one to say, Aldo was killed,
right?
Aldo was broken on our sacred law. When Lisa and Caesar are together, it would have been interesting to see a shot of the two of them reacting, and then somebody next to them or near them say that, so that they're in the same shot when they say Aldo was killed because they're reacting to the couple.
Yeah,
right.
Just something like that, rather than just somebody randomly over here, and then you see somebody behind Aldo say Aldo was killed.
Right.
Start with the two of them, move to behind Aldo, and then the chants then begin.
Now, the good thing is, we look at Claude remains quiet throughout this. His looks around as the camera gets in tighter and tighter on him, where he's seeing everybody, and he's taking. It's well done. It's just it needs these extra pepperings. Now, we cut over to Caesar. We see Caesar's face as the camera pushes to Lisa. Now, Caesar, at about 40 seconds, he's still taking it in. He's looking. By the time we get back to Caesar after McDonald's whole human race line, now that's where we begin to see Roddy once again. The rage is beginning to show. His face is twitching. He is losing his shit. So as we finish, the final shot of the moment is a very close on Claude's face. I think almost knowing his shit is up. He knows he can't get out of this.
Yeah, he's seen everything collapsing around him now.
So I don't know. Y'all think maybe there's going to be a confrontation next week?
I think there might be.
I think we actually picked that very moment to death. And it's funny, I never expected this moment to be as scrutinized as this. But I think that there's a lot of truth here that they've missed so many opportunities to make it. This could have been as good a film as the first one, I think, because you really could say something about what you want to talk about the human race. Then show me what the human race goes through when they live in a radiated city. Show me the things that they need. What is the plight to survive? There are so many possibilities within the story that are not explored because it's so rushed.
The moment where McDonald says, I guess you could say they've just joined the human race, which is a terrible line, almost would be a nice final line before ending a film. Something disastrous happens, and then it becomes something a little more poignant, but that becomes the final line, and then you just kind of fade to credits. It's something like something to let us know that they became us. They've become.
That's a wonderful point, Richard. I mean, that whole thing that they may have been here, but life will cycle on itself, and the same failures, no matter what the race is, it will happen again and again and again.
Because we need to get to the point where we believe everything is going to become like the future, and end on that some level. There's no anticipation to come back to this film, so give it something poignant at the end. And it's not. I mean, it's not an ideal line, but it makes sense to close something out with.
It makes me long for the previous film with all its failures and all the silliness that occasionally occurred. You could tell that they were saying something about the race riots and things that were going on at their time. I don't feel like this film really has a stance on violence. What comes after a violent movement does violent, you could take that to the next level. And I just don't feel like they had anything to say this time. Yeah, there are compelling things. As a kid, again, I would rush home every time so I could see the scary mutants, even though they're not really mutants, fight the apes. And so I could hear Caesar say, now fight like apes. That's what I wanted to see. But when you look at it, what does the film have to say? And I just don't think it has anything.
Yep.
Their elements are there.
Yes.
Elements are there.
Let me say that again. I think this is so ripe with possibilities. It's just not
right. It's got all the ingredients, but doesn't have the recipe.
Yeah, you know what? They forgot to add something. They didn't need a little salt. They need something.
Yeah.
All right.
It's no Cane's chicken.
It's no Cane's chicken. All right. A story for another time. That's it for this week. We'll be back. I don't know what we're going to do for in between tomorrow.
Oh, I haven't even thought about it yet. Let's don't do COVID talk. We did that last week.
Yeah, no more COVID talk.
Still on my mind, but let's talk about something else.
I had COVID talk last night at the gig with people there. I don't want to do anymore. I'm kind of done with it.
Yeah.
We'll figure out something. We'll be back tomorrow. Everyone, until we speak to you then, have a great day.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
The minute of the Apes.